Hi guys, Luca here from Sabre Airsoft with a hopefully another quick video, and today's video I'm going to be showing you how to install the NPAS that Alice, myself and a few others on my Discord have developed for the VMP-2. It's a very straightforward install, but you know, there's some things that you should be aware of during the process. First, we need to get the old one out. So if you can get yourself to this point, excellent. If you're unsure how to get the bolt carrier group out, go and watch my disassembly video, which you can find up in the top right corner now. Once you've got it out, you need to then extract this roll pin. In this particular instance, the customer has mangled theirs. They know who they are, because I know they're going to watch this video. But easily fixed. I do have some roll pins that I can replace that with. Get yourself an appropriately sized pin punch. What I tend to use, I think, is the 5 and 5/32. I don't know what that is in freedom units and how to word that in freedom units, but that's what I tend to use. And a bench block is also very, very handy for this purpose. There we go. I wanted that side, not the other one. Grab yourself a stout hammer, I recommend, purely because pin punches tend to be a little bit more stubborn because they are friction fits. Once it starts going, it should just start going, but there we go. Yeah, just a little bit mangled, that one. So that's going to go in the bin. But that's one side. You can then should be able to then pull the nozzle off. Appears that they have managed to mangle it in more ways than one. So excuse me a second, it's not the camera there. I need to get this off somehow. How am I going to do this? Let's try with this. This is probably going to be not enough. Oh, there we go. Just needed a tiny bit of encouragement. Yeah, they have completely and utterly mangled their piston here. Lucky for them, I have spares somewhere. There we are. There's a spare. Now, normally what you do is you would then remove this pin, which will allow you to remove the piston head. Now, as I say, this piston head is somewhat mangled, so we're not going to use it. Now, if you're planning to use the same nozzle that you started with, what you'll need to do is you'll need to remove this brass restrictor. In this case, it's already partially removed itself. First, though, you'll want to remove this pin. It should, in theory, come out quite easily. Pushing in from the left side, as it is a friction fit pin. I believe it's left side. We'll find out. Of course, you should use a roll pin punch or a pin punch, ideally. That just so happens that the ones that I've got. The best ones for this are, in fact, roll pin punches. You don't have to use a stout hammer for this. You can use a much softer hammer. And if you're not careful, that will happen. Semi-intentional. Mostly because this nozzle isn't getting reused. As you can see, the restrictor had already removed itself. This is the problem with these nozzles, is that the restrictors just don't stay where they're put. They're just not glued in properly, or there was a quality problem with some of them. Not entirely sure, but that is an issue. So with our NPAS though, what we recommend is that you use the pink nozzle. The reason we recommend the pink nozzle is that there is no restrictor in there, so you don't even have to worry about taking the old one apart. Oh, or at least you don't have to worry about removing the restrictor in the old one. Instead, again, following similar steps, pushing from this side, or as I demonstrated earlier, from left to right, you're going to remove that pin. This time I am actually going to keep my my fingers in the way so that I don't lose bits. And you can in fact use the roll pin, the pin punch, as a means to hold everything in until you are able to cup your hand over and let everything come out. It's not under a huge amount of tension, but it's enough that you do need to be wary. Next, find the NPAS. This is actually an older one. Bear with me a second. This is the current one. So, next, find your NPAS. In the packet for the NPAS, you will find two pieces. The NPAS itself, which consists of two pieces, technically 4 if you include the O-ring, and the adjustment tool. The adjustment tool you don't need right now, and I'll demonstrate how that works in a moment. Actually, whilst I've got it out, I might as well demonstrate here. That latches onto this extended piece here, which allows you to then unscrew the NPAS like so. When we're talking about the NPAS, the closed position is fully screwed in, and then the open position is fully unscrewed. Don't overdo it when unscrewing though, as you may separate the two pieces and you'll have a whole world of different issues. Just go until you basically can't see it anymore. I'll show you that momentarily. But that's one side. You will need the spring from the original rocket valve, which just slides over like that. Then you can drop that into the nozzle. Just make sure that it is seated properly. Then we're going to need to grab the pin. Now then, this is where it can go wrong. Push it in from the right hand side. So looking from the back to the front on the right hand side, you need to insert it in there. Don't put it in all the way yet. First, push the NPAS in and then slide across so that the pin is holding the NPAS in place. Then what I usually do is I grab a pair of tweezers and pull the NPAS down and hold it in there like that, and grab your spring and then try and hook it over the pin whilst it's in there. It will want to pop out. It can take a few attempts. Here we go. Take that off for a second. Okay, there we go. Once you've got it in there, you'll know because it won't just come out when you give it a little tug there. The next thing you need to watch out for is that pin is going to want to be it's going to want to tilt like this. So you need to make sure that it is going straight. The way you do that is, again, with a pair of tweezers or something, push it down whilst trying to push across. You'll know you've got it right because it should go just a little bit more. Sorry, it's a bit hard to see whilst in front of the camera there. There we go, I think. So it took me a couple of ruined nozzles to realise what was happening. I was a bit too enthusiastic the first time around, or first couple of times. Once you can see that it's in the hole on the other side, you can gently give it a couple taps just to make sure it's seated most of the way. Confirm that it is, and then get yourself see, that time I went a bit too far. You want to make sure that it's not protruding on either side, ideally. There we go, that's pretty darn flat. There we go. Once it's in there, that's it. You've installed it. Adjusting the NPAS. Now, you don't have to take the upper off the lower in order to do this, but it does make it easier. And in fact, I would suggest that you do so. But the main crux of it is this tool goes in the end of the nozzle, and then just don't push in and try and twist straight away. Go until it suddenly goes a bit deeper. That means that you've found the right point. And then just gently twist. And that should, if we have a look down there, adjust the NPAS. Now it can go surprisingly far, but at this point you've pretty much closed it off completely and you won't get any power at all. And this should be around the maximum power here. And again, be gentle with it, don't overdo it. You can end up breaking the means to adjust it. It doesn't mean the NPAS itself breaks, but you can end up breaking the means to adjust it. It is resin. We have tried different materials, we've tried different designs. This is the one we found works best. This also has a reciprocal on the other side, which I believe is for a 4mm Allen key, so that you can adjust it a little bit easier. And that's as simple as that. And then you just reverse the steps. As I say, in this case, we are going to give him a new piston head, which, especially if it's a brand new one, and even if it's your old one, you might as well take this moment to give it a bit of a lubrication. So grab your lubricant of choice. Where's my brush? There it is. I usually just do the whole piston head. It doesn't hurt. So you only need a brush as well. If you don't need to have massive mounds of the stuff like that, avoid that. There we go. Once that's done, spring, you want to try and make sure the spring's centered. It is in this case. And we're not going to worry too much about the notches right now. What we're going to worry about is that spring inside. As I say, I think I've demonstrated this on a previous video on how to change a nozzle. But I found this sim extractor tool to be the best option. And just grab the pin. As this one is a new one, it may be a bit stubborn, as I have found that the new piston head pins can be a little bit stubborn going in initially. Okay, that appears to be on there now, so I'm just going to give it a little tap to get it through the rest of the way. Should be on there. Happy days. Now, if all of that seems like too much faff for you, and you just want a much easier life, well, I'm pleased to announce that we're actually going to be selling this pre-built NPAS nozzle combo. So if you go onto the website now, you can find it on there. The price is such that labour is covered, not my labour. Alice is the one who's going to be putting them together for me. But basically, it's the cost of the nozzle, the piston head, the NPAS, plus a little bit for labour for Alice, because she does sit there and put these together herself. So if you're interested in one of those and you don't want to do the install yourself, go on my website and they're available now. There are limited quantities and we will do more as and when we sell more if the demand is there. Anyway, from this point on, very straightforward. Give the nozzle a bit of a lubricant, a bit of lubrication, usual words, Luca. Again, same deal as always. Don't need a brush's worth, you don't need to cake it on there. Main points are just these two rails. There is a bit of contact that goes around the outside here as well, which is why I tend to put some on there. But you don't have to. The main one is those rails, as that is the main point of contact. Slide that in on the lower of the two slots. Oh wow, he really did a number on this, didn't he? Okay, well, I've got to go dig out a new roll pin for this, but that's it for this video, guys, and that is how straightforward it is. As I say, even easier if you buy the pre-built one. Hey, that's it. Catch you on the next one.